Hare Krishna. Once again, I welcome you all to today's last session of the 5 days online Bhagavad Gita course. I hope that I'm audible to all of you. Kindly write in chat box, raise your hand if you all can hear me loud and clear. And I seek your merciful forgiveness as well as support. I'm traveling somewhere and I have to find a quiet place to seek your association, seek your mercy. So please bear with me. Today I'm not in the comfort of a regular place from where I welcome you all. So please shower your mercies on me. Pray to Lord Krishna and Srila Prabhupada that this way I conduct today's class, host you all, welcome you all, as well as Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji. Now, there are certain announcements. First announcement is that today there will be no daily quiz. Those of us who have not submitted the daily quiz, which was shared yesterday, kindly share it. The link, we are extending the time of that link. So please make sure that you submit it by tomorrow. Also, tomorrow, we will share the link of the mega quiz. And also, we will share the link, the name and name of the eligible participants who have fulfilled the criteria to be eligible for the mega quiz. All these information we'll share at the end of the session. Also, one more important information announcement that on this Sunday, which is 1st of the December, 12 o'clock till 2 o'clock, we have arranged a special session, special get-together and certificate distribution ceremony, in which we will have Kirtana. There will be a address by His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji, and there will be many programs. So I invite you all, I request you all to please attend the program. The venue would be Sudharma Hall in ISKCON Temple at Noida. On behalf of the entire team, I once again invite you all. Please mark your calendar, book your time, 12 o'clock till 2. And this program would be followed by delicious lunch prasadam. So please don't miss this opportunity to interact with the entire team. Also, interact, see and hear His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji in person. Let me see if Prabhuji has joined us. We have still a few minutes left. So I'll remind once again that today there will be no daily quiz. Instead, those of us who have not submitted the daily quiz, the link whereof was shared yesterday, we are extending the time of it. Kindly make sure you attempt it by tomorrow. And we will be sharing the mega quiz tomorrow. The details whereof I'll share at the end of the day. Please make sure that you attempt it. Also, the list of the eligible candidates, eligible participants, would be shared in the WhatsApp group tomorrow around lunchtime. There's also a form which is being shared wherein we have asked for the name and number of all the participants who have attempted in daily quizzes. Kindly make sure that you fill that form. It will help us serve you better. And on Sunday, it was desired by His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji that we meet. So kindly make yourself available this Sunday, 1st of December, between 12 to 2. We will have a special get-together and certificate distribution session. And this session would be followed by delicious lunch prasadam. So let's not miss this opportunity to interact with His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji and meet the entire team behind the 5-day online course. And today, after this session, we will have a little interactive session with His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji, with his permission, of course, wherein I invite you all to share your experiences of these 5-day course, how you enjoyed it, what is your key learnings, what are the areas where we can improve. So it would be like a feedback session that we will have where you can share your experience, help us understand our shortcomings, if there are any areas of improvement or the areas which you enjoyed, how we can make these sessions more satisfying and more informative. So, okay, we are still waiting for Prabhuji to join us. I believe all of us who are present in this meeting have attended all the 5 sessions, including today's session. Those who have attended all the sessions, kindly raise your hand. Commander Sudhir Dikshit, yes, Prabhuji. Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Sir Loknath Prabhuji, Agni Shahu Prabhuji, Neha Mataji. Thank you so much for your association, and His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji has joined us. Let's welcome His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and request Prabhuji to start today's session. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Welcome, Prabhuji. Over to you.
Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone for today's session, today's final session on Bhagavad Gita, and definitely this wouldn't be the final course because there's a lot to learn in Gita. And this is a kind of a launching course wherein we understand some basics about Bhagavad Gita so that we develop interest and have an understanding or develop an understanding of what is to be found in Bhagavad Gita and what to look for in Gita, and to derive some sort of inspiration to read, study Gita. So this is the basic motive behind organizing this course in such a short manner. And as we have been discussing, um, we are trying to understand the 5 subject matters of Gita, wherein we discussed 3 of them in the past 3 days. We had a introductory session on the first day, and after which we discussed 3 subject matters in the last 3 days. And today we'll be discussing 2 other subject matters, and also we'll be discussing um, upon the practical implementation of Gita in our day-to-day life, and what all changes that we got to make in our daily routine so as to practice the principles of Bhagavad Gita. So we'll conclude with that. And today, as were supposed to take up the last 2 subject matters, and as we have understood, there are total 5 subject matters that are discussed in total in Bhagavad Gita, beginning with Ishvara, Jiva, Karma, Prakriti, and Kala. And among these 5, 4 are said to be eternally existing, whereas 1 is temporary in nature. 4 are eternal and 1 is temporary. Karma is something which is temporary, because as soon as we undergo or we experience or go through the reactions of a particular karmic action, that karma becomes extinct. That particular karma becomes extinct. That's why this karma is temporary in nature, because its relevancy comes to an end as soon as we go through the reaction for it. Whereas the other 4, including Prakriti, are said to be eternal. Although Prakriti appears to be temporary in nature, but if we refer to the scriptures and understand the nature of Prakriti, Prakriti is also understood to be eternal, because Prakriti sometimes exists in a manifest form and sometimes in an unmanifest form. As long as the creation is being maintained, it is in the manifest form. As soon as there is some pralaya, Prakriti is still existing, but in an unmanifest state. In an unmanifest form, it is still existing. Just as we see a pot, mud pot. Mud pot has its existence. But as soon as the mud pot is destroyed, the mud as soon as the mud pot is destroyed, but the mud remains as it is. The mud is not destroyed per se. So the pot is existing in an unmanifest form as of now. After the pot is destroyed, the pot is existing in an unmanifest form. Whereas before the pot was destroyed, the pot was in a manifest form. So in that way, Pralay, even after Pralay, the Prakriti continues to exist in an unmanifest form. And in unmanifest form, it may not be visible to the material eyes, because in the unmanifest form, the Prakriti enters into the body of Lord Vishnu. Enters into the body of Lord Vishnu, and it continues to exist within the body of Lord Vishnu until the next creation takes place. Today, we will kind of briefly go through while understanding Prakriti, we will also briefly go through the process of creation. Process of creation. Which will help us understand both Kala and Prakriti. Both Kala and Prakriti, it will help us to understand. To begin with, maybe we'll start discussing about Prakriti first, and after which we'll discuss about Kala. Prakriti refers to the material nature. Prakriti refers to material nature. And whatever material nature, whatever we are seeing all around us, all constitutes material nature. And this material nature is said to be composed of 8 elements. The material nature is said to be composed of 8 elements. भूमिरपो नलो वायर कम मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहंकारिते में भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा. And all of this, what are these 8 elements? Bhumir, apo, nalo, vayur. That is earth, water, air, fire, ether. These are 5 elements, and the next 3 elements are mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the 8 elements which, which make up this entire material creation. Actually, I mean, if we further understand it in a more deeper way, there are 24 elements which actually make up the entire universe, of which the scientific community has only idea about 5 elements. Their entire study is simply centered around these 5 elements: earth, water, air, fire, and ether. They know very less about mind, little about intelligence and false ego, and forget about the rest. So in that way, but there's a lot more to be understood even in material creation. Even in material creation, there's a lot more to understand what is actually being researched upon in today's science, but there's a lot more to it as per the Vedic scriptures, wherein the universe is said to be composed of 24 elements, of which these 8 are prominent. 8 are prominent, and these 8, as I've described, what are the 8 elements? And these 8 elements, and these and whatever the elements that constitute the material creation. The 8 elements you want me to repeat? Yes. Earth, water, air, fire, and ether. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the 8 elements. And these 8 elements are referred to Bhinna Prakriti Ashtadha. Ashtadha means 8. Bhinna Prakriti means these are said to be the separated energy of the Lord. Separated energy of the Lord. Separated energy of the Lord means the external energy of the Lord. Why? Because actually the Lord's energies can be categorized into 3 different categories. The Lord's energies are categorized into 3 categories. One is Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and Tatastha Shakti. Antaranga Shakti means internal potency. Bahiranga Shakti refers to external potency, and Tatastha Shakti refers to marginal potency, which falls in between internal potency and marginal and external potency. And internal potency includes the energy with which the Lord manifests the spiritual world. The spiritual world is composed of this internal energy, just as the material creation is composed of material energy, which is called Bahiranga Shakti, external potency. Similarly, the spiritual world is composed of, is made up of internal potency of the Lord, which is Chit Shakti or in Antaranga Shakti. And what does Tatastha Shakti refer to? Tatastha Shakti refers to the living entities. That is, we all fall on this Tatastha Shakti. And we are, although by nature we belong to Antaranga Shakti or internal potency, but still we are identified as a separate energy source, that is Tatastha Shakti. Why? Because Tatastha refers to marginal, that means Tat means Mm. Mm. In Hindi, what we say, I mean, tata means it is shore. One question arises, the sea beach, that is shore of the sea, is it a part of the sea or is it part of the land? The seashore, should we consider it to be part of the sea or should we consider it to be part of the land? It can be considered either ways, both. Mm. Because at times it becomes, when the water comes on the shore, it becomes part of the sea, and the water retrieves, then it becomes part of the land. Mm. So that's how it is called tata. And similarly, the jiva, sometimes it comes under the influence of internal potency, and sometimes it comes under the influence of external potency. When it comes under the influence of the internal potency, the Tatastha Shakti or the Jiva exhibits his natural way of living by engaging in pure loving devotional service of Krishna. This is natural state of existence. That is why it is said in the scriptures, Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. To eternally engage in the loving service of Lord Krishna is said to be the very nature or the intrinsic nature of a jiva, which can never be separated from the jiva. Which can never be separated from the jiva. This is said to be the internal nature of the jiva, and this nature is exhibited when the living entity remains under the shelter of the internal potency. And when the jiva, that is we, when we take shelter of Maya Shakti, and what it actually means by taking shelter, I'll describe later on. When we take shelter of the external potency, that is Maya Shakti, that is Bahiranga Shakti, then jiva, he behaves in a very abnormal way and in an insane manner, forgetting his natural state of existence. He indulges in gratifying his senses. He will try to gratify his senses more and more, just as a insane person's behavior is very abnormal. Abnormal. Similarly, the behavior of those people who have taken shelter of the external potency of the Lord or the Maya Shakti of the Lord seems to be very insane in nature. Insane in nature, which is very abnormal. And what it actually means to what we actually mean by taking shelter of internal potency or external potency. Actually, taking shelter of internal potency or external potency means the potency, I mean, with which you stay in contact, or by engaging in its service. For example, if I keep myself engaged in the service of Krishna, that means I'm now under the shelter of Krishna or under the shelter of the internal potency. Whereas if I keep myself engaged in the service of Maya Shakti, or the external potency, that is, I keep on indulging in activities which actually bring about satisfaction to my senses, then that sort of engagement actually is referred to as taking shelter of Maya Shakti. So whosoever service you engage yourself in, you are said to take their shelter. So if I engage in the service of internal potency, that is Krishna, then I am said to be under the shelter of the internal potency. And if I engage myself in the service of Maya, then I am said to take shelter of Maya Shakti. This is how it is understood. But by nature, what I mean, Where do we stand? By nature, we are supposed to stay under the shelter of the internal potency. Internal potency. But but unfortunately, by falsely being attracted by the external potency of the Lord, we end up taking shelter of the external potency. This is how a small description about the various energies of the Lord and our relation with each of them. Just to give a brief understanding about it. Further moving, as I've said, this Prakriti actually falls under the external potency of the Lord. And as I've stated, this Prakriti is referred to as Binna Prakriti Rashtada, or the separated energy or the Bahiranga potency of the Lord. Separated energy, you can better understand in this way. Ki, uh, my my hair and my nails can be understood to be separate energy of myself. Separated energy of myself, because at times I can separate them and remove. Although they grow, as long as I mean, they are contact with me. As long as they're in contact with me, they keep growing. But still they can be separated. Even if they are separate, it doesn't matter to me much. So in that way, these can be considered separated energy. And now, and these are the constituent elements which compose the material nature, as I've described now. And now we'll understand how the material nature is working. How the material nature works, or in other words, how the material nature keeps us under its control. How we are being controlled or driven by the material nature. This is described in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Sorry, 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, wherein the three modes of material nature discussed. It is said that the material nature is composed of three modes, which are Sattvaguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Sattvagun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. That Sattvagun means mode of goodness, Rajogun means mode of passion, and Tamogun means mode of ignorance. In this way, these are the three modes. Guna in Sanskrit, guna refers to qualities, or guna is also another synonymous meaning, that is robe. Guna also refers to robe. Just as ropes can be used to tie a person, similarly, the material nature uses these three kinds of very subtle ropes to bind the people in this material world. The material nature uses these three kinds of ropes, that is Sattvaguna, Rajo, and Tamogun, to actually bind us in this material world. Binding us, and these three ropes are ropes, but they are invisible ropes. That's why I'm telling that they are very subtle in nature. They are invisible ropes. We cannot even sense that we are being bound here. We are being bound by these ropes. We cannot even sense that. Rather, a person feels that he is very free. But the fact is that we are actually not free. Rather, we are bound by these three ropes called Sattva, Rajogun, Tamogun. And as I've said, they are very subtle in nature, and we are bound with these subtle ropes. And how is it that we are bound by these subtle ropes? That I will kind of very briefly describe now. I mean, which is actually described in Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna. So I'll just just like in Sattva Guna, Sattva Guna is characterized by knowledge, and a sense of happiness. Sense of happiness. Because Sattva Guna, there is a sense of happiness or a satisfaction that a person feels contented, because of which the person does not gain the impetus to get out of this material world. He feels that ठीक है, ठीक है, I'm okay. I'm okay, I'm content, I'm satisfied, I'm happy, okay. So that's why this person being, because of the sense of satisfaction or happiness that that arises in his heart, because of that he never feels the need to get out of this material world. Because of this, in one sense, it can be said that this person is being bound to bound to stay in the material world by the rope of the sense of happiness that he feels. By the ropes of the sense of happiness that he feels. So that's why the sense of happiness that a person in Sattva Guna feels, that itself acts as the rope to bind him in this material world. So that's why this sense of happiness that a person feels is also very dangerous in nature, because it is actually binding us to the material world. Because that sense of happiness actually makes him forget about the miserable nature of this material world, about his miserable situation, and it does not endeavor to advance on the path of devotion. He does not feel the need of connecting himself with the Lord. He does not very strongly feel the need of engaging in the service of the Lord, because of which he loses the impetus to engage in the service of Lord, because of which his devotion will be very slackened. Slackened. And this is about Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna. And about Rajogun. Rajogun, that is, Rajogun is characterized by passion. This person is very passionate very passionate and very ambitious in his life. He is so passionate, because of which his passions actually keep him so busy and occupied in the activities or in the clutches of the material world, that he does not find time to engage in the service of Krishna. He'll be so occupied with so many responsibilities that he has taken upon himself, and he will forget the actual responsibility that he is supposed to discharge, or he'll forget the actual purpose of life that for which he is actually existing in the material world. He will neglect that because he feels that I'm too busy. And such people never find any time for practicing spirituality. They never find any time. They always keep on saying कि प्रभु जी टाइम नहीं है, टाइम नहीं है, टाइम नहीं, कहाँ जा रहे हैं? प्रभु जी गधे को पाल रहे हैं. So they are, what is the donkey? The donkey of responsibilities. Donkey of responsibilities. So-called responsibilities that he has taken upon himself by by falsely identifying himself with many wrong designations. We actually take upon us many wrong designations, false designations, which are imposed upon us by our contact with the material nature. But our actual and only designation is servant of Krishna. This is our true identity and true designation to be a servant of Krishna. That is why our actual and true responsibility that we are meant to discharge is service to Krishna. Apart from this, everything else is a designation that we earned upon us, that we have assumed by our presence in the material world. By our presence in the material world, we have earned many so-called designations that, and just like I'm an employee of this company, I'm mother, I'm father, I'm sister, I'm women, I'm man, I'm a citizen of this country, I'm this and that. And all of these are temporary in nature. For example, in this lifetime, I'm in a woman's body, so I'm a woman. Tomorrow I may take birth in a man's body. Tomorrow I may take birth in a man's body. Immediately the designation changes. That is why these designations are temporary in nature. Today I have taken birth in India. Tomorrow I may take birth in America. Today I'm in Indian. Tomorrow I'll be an American. So that's why these designations are temporary in nature, and they are false in nature. False in nature, because we are neither an Indian, we are neither an American, neither an Australian. Rather, we are actually spirit souls, servants of Krishna. Irrespective of caste, creed, religion, country, anything, we are all servants of Krishna. So this is the actual designation of a living entity. Forgetting which we identify ourselves with many other designations, assume many other designations, and we take upon us the responsibilities that come with those designations, and falsely get occupied with all of these responsibilities, and forgetting our supreme responsibility of serving Krishna. And that is what is said in Bhagavatam, wherein it is said, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktiradokshje ahaituki apratihata yayatma supasidati. There, actually, this many sages, they ask Rishi Suta Goswami about what is the prime duty or the prime responsibility of a human life. Of the human life, because there are many things which are discussed even in Shastras in the name of dharma. Then what is the ultimate dharma which is to be practiced at any cost by a human? And that's why this is not simply called dharma, rather this is called paradharma. The para means ultimate religion, ultimate dharma. What is that ultimate dharma? One should at any cost practice in his life without fail. Then Sutta Goswami states this sloka, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma. Pumsaha means human. For all the human beings, when here, by the word Pumsa, Sutta Goswami is not referring to simply Hindus or Indians or this category or that category. Rather, by Pumsa, Sutta Goswami is referring to the entire mankind, irrespective of any caste, country, religion, anything. So everybody, everyone, irrespective of all of these differences, what is their prime duty? Savai Pumsam paro dharma. The ultimate religion, what is it? Savai Pumsam paro dharma ahe. Bhaktir adokshaje. Adokshaje means, adokshaje refers to Krishna. Bhakti, to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, is said to be the paradharma of a living entity. And that too, what kind of devotional service? Ahaituki apratihata. Ahaituki means unmotivated. Unmotivated, that is, there should not be any material motives behind our service to Krishna. Material motives in the sense ki many people come to the temple to do a kind of business with the Lord. Lord, I will put 1,000 rupees in your hundi, and you ensure that I get at least 10,000 rupees increment. Bhagavan, I will offer you this. Please, uh, please ensure that my my son gets a seat in the IIT. Or Bhagwan, I am facing this problem. So please get it resolved. I promise you that I will come to Tirupati and offer you whatever I got in my pocket. So this is all kind of a material motive. Material motive. And this material motives are what are being condemned here. That one should not, I mean, pure devotion means one should not, one should not carry such material motives. Rather, he should approach the Lord simply with an intention to express one's loving service to him, without any expectation in return. Without any expectation in return, we simply serve the Lord as an expression of our love towards him. As an expression of our love towards him. Just like a mother serves her child without any expectation in return, similarly, a devotee is supposed to engage in the service of Lord without any expectation in return. The mother does not sign an agreement with the child saying, you please sign an agreement before I begin my service to you. Please sign an agreement saying that you will take care of me when I get old. Such an agreement was never signed between the child and the mother. Rather, the mother selflessly engages in the service of the child, irrespective of whether the child may take care of her later on or not. Still, the mother engages in her service. So this is how selfless a mother is. Although she does not receive anything from the child in return, but still she always wishes. She always is the best well-wisher of the child. Best well-wisher of the child. So similarly, a devotee also should engage selflessly without any material motive in the service of his beloved Lord Krishna. And secondly, apratihata. Apratihata means there should not be any break. There should not be any break. It should not be like, I do it for 2 days, I take a break on the third day, and do it for another week and take a break for 2-3 days. No, this is not actually devotion. Devotion means actually there shouldn't be any break. It should be continuous. Just as, I mean, in my life, I can see, my mother has never taken a leave at home. Although it is never that she didn't get sick any time. Although she may be sick, but still she will ensure that I get my meals daily. She never takes leave. So similarly, a devotee, his service is said to be purely devotional only when it is when it doesn't break at any cost. At any cost. This is how punctual, or this is how dedicated a devotee is. And when a devotee engages in this sort of pure devotion, which is unmotivated and uninterrupted, such a service will bring about great satisfaction and happiness, which is unprecedented in oneself. That is why it said, Jayatma suprasidati. Suprasidati. Prasida means happiness. And suprasida means great happiness. And this sort of great happiness will arouse in a devotee's heart when he engages in such pure, selfless, uninterrupted devotional service. And this sort of devotion to the Lord is said to be the highest religion, religion of a human, which he is supposed to discharge. And that's why, and this is what is actually propounded by Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, this is the beauty of Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is that scripture which doesn't talk about any other secondary religions, secondary dharma. Rather, it talks exclusively about the Paradharma, ultimate religion, of very only pure devotion to the Lord. So that is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyways, so in this way, this is said to be the duty of a jiva, to engage in the service of Krishna. And then as of now, what we are doing? What we are doing is manasashtanindriyani prakritistani karshati. Manasashtani indriyani. Along with the mind, there are actually 6 senses together. That is 5 knowledge gathering senses, and the 6th one, that is mind. These 6 put together are said to be Shashtani indriyani, 6 senses. And along with these 6 senses, we are actually engaged with the material nature, and we are struggling for existence in the material nature. This is what is actually called struggle for existence. And what we are trying to do with the 6 senses, we are trying to idham dharyate jagat. That is, we are trying to exploit the resources of the material world. We're trying to exploit the resource of the material world. Exploiting the resources of the material world means trying to utilize the resources of the material world for one's own sense gratification. To use the resources of the material world for one's own sense gratification is what is actually referred to as exploitation of the material world. But actually, what are we supposed to do with the material nature? We are actually supposed to engage the resources of the material nature in the service of Krishna. We are supposed to engage the resources of the material nature in the service of Krishna, but rather than doing that, we are actually utilizing the resources of the material world for our own satisfaction directly. And because of such an attempt, we remain miserable. We remain miserable because there is no question of being happy by simply trying to gratify our senses, because we are not capable of it. The only way we can derive happiness is by connecting with Krishna. That is what is said in Bhagavad Gita elsewhere, where it is said, nasti nasti buddhirayuktasya nacha bhayavata. नास्ति बुद्धिर अयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चा भावेतशान्तिरशान्तस्य कुतश्रुकम्. In this it is said, because you are not connected to me, hey Arjuna, because when a living entity is not connected to Krishna, then his intelligence is not steady. It's very fickle. Because his intelligence and mind are not steady and very fickle, he can never ever experience peace in his life. Because of the absence of peace, he will never ever be happy in his life. Where all of this is originating? Because we have compromised our connection with Krishna. That is why everything that is why we are ending up being unhappy in our lives. Just as long as as long as a bulb is not connected to the main power supply from which the very source of electricity comes, as long as my bulb is not connected to the main supply, the bulb will not lit up. The bulb will not light. as long as it is not connected to the main supply. So similarly, the very source of happiness is Krishna. As long as we do not connect ourselves with Krishna, how can we expect happiness in our lives? And whatever happiness that we seem to experience in our lives is actually false happiness. Is actually false happiness, which is actually stated in Bhagavad Gita, wherein it is said, wherein it is said, एयी संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःख योन ये वै आदि अंतवंत कौन्तेय नते श्रमते बुधाः. Adi antavantah kaunte. What is the nature of the material happiness that we experience in the material world? Adi, it has a beginning. Antah, it has an ending. It starts at a point of time and it ends at a point of time. That is why this happiness is temporary in nature. And secondly, Adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddhaha. And it is actually false in nature also, because actually it is misery in disguise. The happiness that we experience in the material world is actually misery in disguise. And how it is misery, I'll let you know. So these are the two natures, these are the two characteristics of happiness that we experience in this material world. That is it is temporary, and second it is false, because it is actually misery in disguise. And that is why, knowing these two facts, na teshu ramate buddhaha, the most intelligent people, they do not indulge in such activities. They do not try to enjoy such happiness, because they know that this is false and this is temporary. And why is it false? It is false because it actually binds us to the material world. It keeps us in the material world. How? For example, you must have heard of a fishing rod that people use to fish. Fishing rods, there's this long fishing rods. A typical fishing rod is like it's a very long rod, and towards the end of the rod there's a string attached to it, and towards the end of the string there is a small piece of meat which is hooked onto a blade, and this is put into the water. When the fish which is moving here and there notices that there is a small piece of meat hanging, so immediately the fish comes to that place, and it tries to eat that piece of meat. And as soon as the fish tries to eat the piece of meat, what happens is, because that meat is hanging onto a blade, immediately the blade immediately the fish clings onto that blade, and that is the end of its life. That is the end of its life. Immediately the fisherman gets to know that a fish is caught, and he pulls it out. So this is how it happens. Now the thing is that while the fish is eating this piece of meat, it feels happy, right? Every day I had to hunt for this piece of meat, but today somebody being so generous, he has literally cut this piece of meat and he has sent it for me. Glories to such a generous personality who has sent this small piece of meat. Definitely the fish is enjoying while it is eating this piece of meat, but as soon as it eats a piece of meat, it lately realizes that it got stuck with the blade. Now the question is, this piece of meat has become the source of happiness for the fish or the source of misery? Source of misery. Although there is a temporary happiness that the fish is experiencing for a short while, but but his very life is at stake now, by simply indulging, because it indulges in such sort of happiness. So that's why this piece of meat is actually not the cause of happiness for the fish, but rather this piece of meat has become the cause of great pain for the fish. So similarly, although the happiness of this material world appears to be very, mm, very attractive, mm, very attractive, but still a knowledgeable person, he understands that if I indulge in such sort of happiness, I will get trapped. Maya is fishing and she will fish me out. So better do not indulge in it, and rather, but then how can I derive happiness? I can derive happiness by engaging in selfless service of the Lord. By engaging in selfless service of the Lord. So that is the reason. That is the reason. See, sometimes people may question ki Prabhuji, I mean, how come we experience such great happiness in service to Krishna? Yes, and this is actually a proven record for ages together. You must, there are many saintly people who have experienced such a great happiness in the service of the Lord, that they even wouldn't mind the, or sometimes at times, even for the sake of serving the Lord, even they were to give up all their material life, they'll be ready to do that because they derive such great happiness in the service of the Lord. Mm. Mm. So unless and until a person actually, because howsoever, whatsoever statements that I might make about a gulab jamun, that this gulab jamun is round and it is very sweet, very juicy, very soft, and this and that. Unless and until you eat gulab jamun, you'll not be able to experience the happiness of or the taste of gulab jamun. Similarly, unless and until you practice selfless devotion to the Lord, until then you will not be able to sense the reality of my statements that I'm making here. So that's why you please taste it by actually practicing it. By actually practicing it. When you taste it, then you'll feel so happy and so satisfying. Satisfying. That you'll have to experience it for yourself. That cannot be, gulab jamun cannot be then cannot be explained in a PhD thesis. Cannot be explained in a PhD thesis. It is to be experienced by eating. Similarly, the taste of devotion has to be experienced by eating, by tasting it, by taking to the practice. So in this way, this is the prime duty of a living entity to engage the Prakriti in the service of Krishna rather than engaging Prakriti in his own service, for his own satisfaction. For his own satisfaction. So this is a little bit of Prakriti, a little bit about Prakriti. And when a person engages in this way, he does not get trapped or bound by the three ropes that I have just talked about. Rather, it is said that Mam chayo vyabhicaren bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. It is said in Gita that a person who engages in pure devotion to the Lord, he is actually liberated. He is actually liberated from the clutches of these three ropes. He will never be bound by these three ropes. Rather, he will be relieved from the binding of these three ropes. So then he will actually become a true independent personality who is actually not bound by the ropes of the material world. As of now, we are all bound. We are all bound. So in this way, there's a little bit of bit about Prakriti. Now I'll talk about Kala. Kala, time. time is that factor which is actually driving the entire world. We are actually being driven by time. Just like as soon as it gets 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, we go to bed. And as soon as we see that it is going to be 9, yes, I have to rush to my office. I'll run for office. Time for lunch, I'll eat lunch. So in this way, every activity is actually being driven by time in one sense. One sense. So that's why it is, in one sense, a driving force for the entire world. It is a means by which the Lord controls the material world as well. Time means by which the Lord controls the material world. And this time, actually, Krishna says, Kalosmi. Kalosmi means Kalaha Asmi. That means I am time. As I've skipped Tamogun. I'll describe it towards the end then. Krishna says, I am time. That is, time is actually Krishna. Time is actually Krishna. When time is Krishna, then time is to be used in Krishna service. Time is Krishna. Time is supposed to be used in Krishna service. Because it is Krishna. And I'll draw your attention to a small discussion here. We usually hear about this statement that time is really precious. Even a second that passes away cannot be earned back, even at the exchange of millions and millions of dollars. Even at the cost of millions and millions of dollars, we cannot bring back a second which has passed away, right? So that means every second is worth millions and millions of dollars. Every second is worth millions and millions of dollars. Then now just think about where are we investing our time? Whether that activity in which we are investing our time, is it really worth millions of dollars or not? For example, 8 to 10 hours of our day goes in working in a company. 8 to 10 hours of a day goes in working in a company. And for example, you're being paid 10,000 rupees salary per day. That is, for 1 hour, you're being paid 1,000 rupees. And 1 hour means 3,600 seconds. 3,600 seconds, you are being paid 1,000 rupees. That is for that is for 1 second, how much you're being paid? Not even 1 rupee, less than that. It somewhere comes out to be 20 paise. 20 paise per second. This is what we are being paid, 20 paise per second. On the other hand, it is being said that your second is worth millions of dollars. And here we are just drawing 20 paise per second. So do you think that is it a right utilization of our time? So in one sense, we are being cheated. We are being cheated. We are simply being offered 20 paise while our every second is millions of dollars valuable. So actually, in this way, if we see, we are spending time for something useless, unworthy of. Rather, one is supposed to use his time for something really worthy. And that thing which is really worthy is service to Krishna. Devotion to Krishna. Every moment that is spent in the service to Krishna is the right utilization of time, and every moment spent otherwise is the misutilization of time, or the wastage of time in one sense. But as and when we learn the art of performing every activity as a service of Krishna, then whatever job we are doing, that also becomes a part of Krishna service. That also becomes a part of Krishna service, just as I've clarified yesterday, how a student is supposed to study. So in that way, when a devotee performs, a devotee performs all of his day-to-day activities as per the principles given in the scriptures, and as a matter of service to Krishna, and with a consciousness to please Krishna, so then his every activity falls in the in the region of devotion, and that's why in that way he will always be utilizing his time. In that way, he'll always be utilizing his time. For example, a housewife spends a lot of time cooking. A housewife spends a lot of time cooking, and keeping the keeping the house clean and all of these activities. A housewife spends a lot of time in these activities. For example, whatever is being cooked, if she offers it to the Lord, before it is served to to the family members, if that food is offered to the Lord before it is served to the family members, then all the time that she invested uh, for cooking will in one sense be regarded as service to Krishna, because she has cooked for Krishna, because she has offered it to Krishna. So in that way, all the times that is spent for cooking will be regarded as devotion. Will be regarded as devotion just by doing the simple activity of offering the cooked food to the Lord before it can be served to the members. So in that way, even the very activity of buying vegetables can also be considered as devotion when we cook and offer it to Krishna before it is served. So in that way, a simple activity can actually spiritualize all of these activities of cooking, the activity of buying vegetables, and activity of serving. All of this can be brought under the purview of devotion simply by doing the small little thing, that is offering the cooked items to Krishna. So in this way, one has to learn the art of spiritualizing his life. So that's why we are in devotion. We are not asking to give up anything. We are not asking to give up your family or this and your job or anything like that. Rather, and the only thing that is being asked for is to spiritualize these activities. Spiritualize these activities by adding the small little things to our life. The small little things to our life. This actually spiritualizes our entire existence. So in that way, one has to utilize his time. And and the time actually, as it is also mentioned by Einstein. Einstein also refers to theory of relativity, wherein he also talks about relativity of time. So, and that is actually true as per Vedic scriptures. Time's existence is very relative in nature. Is relative in nature. That is, the time scales that we see in this material world are different from the time scales in heavenly planets, and the time scales in heavenly planets are different from the time scales in Brahmaloka. So in this way, the time scales differ in each of the planets. For example, in Svargaloka, in the heavenly planets, one day is equivalent to 6 months on earthly planet. One day in Svargaloka is equivalent to 6 months in earthly planet. And so is the night. So is the night. So you can imagine what 100 years means to a person living in the heavenly planets. How long would it be? How long would it be? Wherein a year consisting of 365 days and it's like that 100 years, then you can imagine how long would it be. And if we hear about Brahmaji, Brahmaloka, then it is even more mind-boggling. Wherein, before talking about Brahmaloka, I'll just explain one thing. That is, time always runs in cycles. Time always runs in cycles. Just as today is over, tomorrow again will begin with the daytime. So similarly, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is over, and Sunday is over, again Monday comes. The cycle repeats on and on and on. Similarly, similarly, there are 4 yugas. Just as we have 7 days in a week, there are 4 yugas in a Chatur Yuga, which is also called Mahayuga. There are 4 yugas, namely Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. These are the 4 yugas. And it begins with Satya Yuga, next Treta, and next Dwapar and Kali Yuga. And after Kali Yuga, once again Satya Yuga will begin. And Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali Yuga, and once again Satya Yuga will begin. In this way, this also goes in cycles. This also goes in cycles. And what is the span of these yugas? Kali Yuga is said to be 4,32,000 years long. 4,32,000 years long, Kali Yuga. And Dwapar Yuga is exactly double to that of Kali Yuga. That is 8,64,000 years make one Dwapar Yuga. And Treta Yuga is 3 times that of Kali Yuga. 3 times that of the Kali Yuga. And Satya Yuga is 4 times that of Kali Yuga. That is 4x, 3x, 2x, and x. And all of these 4 yuga cycles put together, what is the total span? What is the total span? Total span of a Chatur Yuga or Mahayuga is 43,20,000 years. 43,20,000 years make one Chatur Yuga. This is how long a Chatur Yuga is. This is how long. 43,20,000 years. And 43,20,000 years make one Mahayuga. Such 1,000 Mahayugas make one Kalpa. One Kalpa consists of 1,000 Chaturyugas. One Kalpa consists of 1,000 Chaturyugas. Then you can imagine how long that the period of kalpa is. And one kalpa makes 1 day of Brahma. One kalpa makes 1 day of Brahma, and 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 similarly his night is also similarly long enough. One kalpa is 1 day and one kalpa 1 night. So 2 kalpas make a day and night for Brahma. So in that way, a Brahma lives for 100 years. Brahma lives for 100 years. Now you keep calculating how many years Brahma is going to live as per the earthly years. 100 into 365 into 2 into 1000 into 43,20,000 years, which comes out to be somewhat like 311 trillion years. Odd. 311 trillion years. And in science, people hardly talk about civilization which dates back to, at the max, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years. And 10,000 years, Stone Age and this and that, everything will be covered maximum 20, 30,000 years. But here, as per the Vedic scriptures, we are talking about trillions and trillions of years. Trillions and trillions of years. And even more mind-boggling is the details about Lord Vishnu, from whom the entire universe emerges. Entire universe emerges. It is said that in Brahma Samhita, it is said, Yasyeka nisvasita kalamatavalambyo jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanaataha. Yasyeka nishvashita kalam, nishvashita kalam. Here it is said, the Brahmaji is actually lying on the causal ocean. No, sorry, Vishnu is lying on the causal ocean. And from Vishnu's, just as we have sweat pores on our body, similarly, there are certain pores on the body of Lord Vishnu. On the body of Lord Vishnu, just as we have sweat pores from which sweat comes out, similarly, there are pores on the body of Lord Vishnu. When the Lord Nishvashita, when the Lord is exhaling, then the universes emerge from the sweat pores of the body of the Lord. The universe emerges from the sweat pores of the Lord. In a seed form, it emerges, and the universe which is emerged in seed form would slowly and gradually increase and expand in size. Expand in size. And as soon as the Lord inhales, after exhaling, we inhale, no? Similarly, as soon as the Lord inhales after some time, the universe which has been created now, that will once again enter into the body of the Lord. Enter into the body of the Lord. So in that way, in this way, the universe comes into existence at one point of time when the Lord exhales, and as soon as the Lord inhales, the universe enters the body of the Lord. And the duration between the Lord's exhale and inhale is said to be the duration of the existence of Brahmaji. Is said to be the duration of the existence of Brahmaji. The 100 years of Brahmaji will simply be completed in a in the time taken by the exhaling or inhaling of the Supreme Lord. That's it. In that span, the entire universe is created. Brahmaji is created. The entire universe runs for 100 years of Brahmaji, and then where Pralay comes, then everything is destroyed, and the Lord inhales, and everything enters the body of the Lord. So you can imagine if Brahmaji's life is 311 trillion years, that means 311 trillion years equates to one breath of the Supreme Lord. One breath of the Supreme Lord equates to 311 trillion years. And you can imagine the expansiveness of the Supreme Lord, from whose sweat pores of the body the entire universe is emerging. From each of his sweat pores, one universe comes out. So you can imagine, and that's why it is said, Ananta Koti. There are innumerable universes in the material existence, and each of the universes is coming out one of the sweat pores of the Lord. And you can think of if we are talking about that universe whose length and breadth even the scientists couldn't find out even till date. Till date, the scientists could not find out the length and breadth of the universe that we are staying now. And as per the Vedic scriptures, the universe that we are staying now is said to be the smallest of all the universes. Smallest of all the universes. All the other universes are tens and hundreds and thousands and lakhs and crores of times bigger than the universe we are staying in right now. Universe we are staying in right now, then you can imagine the potency and the power of the Supreme Lord in creating such innumerable expansive universes by simply his will. It doesn't have to work hard creating all of these universes. Simply by his will, all the entire material creation manifests simply by his will. This is the potency of the Lord. Then what to compare with those foolish idiots who pretend or claim themselves to be God simply by pulling out a gold chain from his pocket? What is gold chain in front of these innumerable expansive universes? What does the gold chain has to do with this? And simply by bringing up a gold chain, people think that he has become God, and they'll offer aarti, this and that to him. Such great foolishness, and such cheaply people take God as. But God is not so cheap. You can hear here. You can understand how great the Lord is, who has created such a unimaginably great universe. I'm still explaining a very little part of it. And this, such a great material creation of which these innumerable material universes are a part, is said to be simply a fraction of the spiritual world. This is simply a fraction of the spiritual world. Then you can imagine what the spiritual world is about. So in this way, the creation comes into existence. So that is why we should understand the greatness of the Lord with all of these descriptions. And we should take to his devotion selves. But the Lord, out of his merciful nature, he appears on this earth and acts like a normal human being, like any one of us. Simply so as to give us an opportunity to establish a relationship with us. Because if the Lord shows up himself as a very great person, then we will fear to approach him. Then the living entities will have difficulty to establish any relationship with him. They might have very great reverence towards him, but they fail to have some loving exchange with the Lord. But the Lord wants to have such loving exchange with us. So that's why the Lord conceals his greatness and appears to be very normal humanly person and acts like a humanly person and deals with us so that we develop that loving relation with him. And just because the Lord is acting out of his mercy in that way, people sometimes accept him to be or imagined him to be a very normal person, and such people Krishna calls are like donkeys. Krishna says in Gita, avajananti ma muda manusham tanumashritah. Param bhavamajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Not understanding the greatness of my personality, not understanding my nature. People at times mistake me to be a normal human. Avajananti manusham tanumashritah, who has accepted a normal human body. And who are such people? Mudaha. Mudaha means foolish people who are donkey-like people. Think that Krishna and Lord Ram are normal persons just because they are acting humanly. So that's why these that's what Krishna says. So, okay. And lastly, I'll simply summarize how do we, and knowing all of this, what are we supposed to do? This is the most important thing that we'll have to understand after all of the course that we have heard until now. So, what is to be done now? After hearing all of this, as I mean, in the course of our discussions, we are repeatedly hearing about the importance of practicing spirituality in one's life, and spirituality is nothing but devotion to the Supreme Lord. And what actually we are supposed to do in order to practice devotion in our lives. What actually you're supposed to do. I'll simply summarize this in a small little abbreviation. We can summarize all the activities that we are supposed to do now. I'll simply summarize as these are said to be the ABCDE of bhakti. These simply you'll have to do these 5 things. That's it. A, B, C, D, and E. These 5 things we'll have to adopt in our life. What are those 5 things that we got to adopt? So please listen carefully. A for apple, association. A for association. Associate with devotees or saintly people. Because we are known by the company we keep. If we keep company of foolish people, we end up becoming foolish. If we keep company of drunkards, we'll also end up becoming a drunkard. If we keep the company of smokers, then we also end up becoming a smoker. If we keep the company of saintly people and devotees, then we can also practice devotion and become a devotee. Become a devotee. So that is why it is, and in psychology also it is said, your personality can in one sense be said as the average of the 5 people you associate with the most. Your personality, your character is an average of the 5 people you associate with the most. So you can see, because these 5 people are actually shaping your character. So that is why it is very important to, if you really want to practice devotion or practice spirituality, then it is very important to associate with devotees on a regular basis. And that is the reason we will, this session wouldn't be the last session. Definitely this is the last session for this course, but this wouldn't be the last course. Rather, we will, we'll be launching today many, other courses which will be introducing to you today. So you can connect yourself to some of these courses which are not like this. You'll not feel it so hectic as this course was, because this course was continuously for 5 days at one go. But there will be weekly sessions. At least once in a week, if you attend the session, then you'll carry that motivation or the spirit for at least a week or so. So that's why it is very important to attend these sessions to keep oneself motivated. So please kindly take out time, because in these sessions, as you have heard, we'll be discussing about the concepts that we derive from Gita and Bhagavatam, and we'll simply so that's why please kindly take out time, unless because it is just as everything in this world has the nature of falling down. mm, Falling down, be it be for the gravitational force of earth, everything by default falls down. Similarly, our consciousness or our inspiration also falls down if we do not attempt to keep it awake or and hold it. It'll naturally fall down. So that's why so it is a request that please, so as to keep our spirits high, to keep our motivations high, so please kindly keep attending at least these weekly sessions, so that we can keep our spirits high and motivations, so that we can practice devotion. This is one thing. And secondly, uh, second comes B. B for books. B for books. Books refers to, because we'll not be having sessions like this every day. It is very important to read for yourself books like Bhagavad Gita. And we will also recommend some small books which are actually derived from Gita. Which are actually derived from Gita. These small books will help you later on understand the principles of Bhagavad Gita even better. So that's why we'll recommend you the small books. And in at least for 20 minutes to 30 minutes, if you can devote for reading these books, that will kind of kind of inspire some positive thoughts in our mind. See, I mean, it is simple. Whatever you put here, that will come out. If you put garbage inside, what will come out? Garbage will come out. If you put good things inside, good things will come out. If you simply dump yourself in the news coming in the news channels and the newspapers and this magazines and that magazines and this and that, all the rubbish things, if you keep on dumping in your mind like a dustbin, then how can you expect to get good thoughts, positive thoughts? How can you expect? Because what we are feeding to our mind is all negative. When we are feeding all negative things to our mind, then how can we expect any positive thought? So that is why hardly people carry any positive thoughts and positive vibrations in their life. If we were to carry positive thoughts or positive vibrations, then we have to give inputs of that kind, of that nature, which are positive in nature. Which are constructive in nature, and this is what is to be found in the pages of Bhagavad Gita. So that is why, rather than spending all the day long reading the messages on WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and newspaper channels and videos and all of this, rather at least devote half an hour of time to read these books. These books will inspire positive thoughts. Positive thoughts. So please devote some time. At times people keep on complaining, ki Prabhuji, I mean, we do not have time. See, the average screen time of an Indian is 6 hours. 6 hours is the average screen time for Indians. That means every Indian on average is spending 6 hours on mobile. When we are able to take out 6 hours of our day simply to browse through on the mobile, then why can't we take half an hour for reading? Why not? It is a matter of will. It is a matter of will. Nothing else. Third, so in this way, please take out time to read books. And thirdly, A for association, B for books, and C for chanting. Chanting. And this is what is called mantra meditation. Chanting of mantra or mantra meditation. As I've said in in one of the sessions in between, I mentioned that the dharma for this age, just like I've said, no, paradharma, paradharma for this age, there are different dharmas prescribed for different ages. For Satyuga, it's a different dharma. Treta Yuga, it is different, and Dwapara is different. Kali Yuga is different. Depending on the time, place, circumstance, and the consciousness levels of the people, different dharmas are prescribed. For example, in Satyuga, Dhyana Yoga is prescribed. Dhyayato Vishnu. Krite yad dhyayato Vishnu. In Krita Yoga, that is Satyuga, Dhyana Yoga prescribed. And in Treta Yoga, Yajna is prescribed. In Dwapar Yoga, deity worship, establishing temples and worshipping the deities is prescribed. And in Kali Yoga, what is prescribed? Krite yad dhyayato Vishnu Tretayam yajuto maki Dwapare Paracharyayam. Kalau tad Hari Kirtanat. In Kali Yuga, it is simple Kirtan of the Lord Hari. Simple Hari Kirtan is sufficient. In Satyuga, because people's minds are very peaceful, very calm, they are all in Sattva Guna. So that's why meditation was possible at that time. But now, if we kind of imitate the people of Satyuga and take to meditation, we will sit in meditation, people will keep thinking that, Acha, this person is very nicely meditating, but we know the reality, what is going in our mind. What is going on in our meditation, we know the reality. Either either the quarrel that we had the previous day, that will replay in our mind, or the Bollywood movie which we have watched the previous night will be running, or the office work that is pending, that will be roaming around in our mind, or like that any other n number of things would come to our mind. But not actually what actually meditation is. It is said dhyayato Vishnu. Our meditation should be on Krishna, Vishnu, but we will not be able to meditate or fix our mind upon Krishna because our minds are not peaceful. So that's why that is not the prescribed method for this age. The prescribed method for this age is Hari Kirtan. Kalu tad Hari Kirtanat. That is why in elsewhere in Bhagavatam it is again said. It is said. Simply kalo tat hari kitanadevam krishnasya mukti sangat param brajet. It is said kalo dosha nidhe rajanasti he ko mahavguna kitanadevam krishna mukti sangat param brajet. It is said that simply by performing kirtan onto the Supreme Lord Krishna, one will be delivered from this miserable material world and he'll attain the Supreme Lord's abode. So in this way, the Kirtan is the prescribed method for this age. And how can we perform this Hari Kirtan? At the leisure of our home, we can simply sit in the early morning hours and chant the names of Krishna with the help of this mantra, which is prescribed in Kali Santarana Upanishad. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This mantra we can continuously recite. When we recite this mantra for 108 times, it makes it one mala. And in that way, I recommend that you please chant 2 malas per day, which takes hardly 15 minutes of your time. 15 minutes of your time. Sit at one place on an asan. Sit on an asan in one clean place, And please, I mean, while we can very softly recite this mantra, and recite it in such a way that you can hear it very clearly, distinctly, you can hear it. So the process is you'll have to chant it softly and hear it nicely, clearly. This is what you're supposed to do. And while meditating upon the meaning of the mantra, what is the meaning of the mantra? This is a prayer to the Supreme Lord Radha and Krishna, praying to them, ki, Hey Srimati Radharani and Hey Supreme Lord Krishna, my only request onto your lotus feet is to please kindly engage me in your loving devotional service. I wish to engage in your service. Until now, I'm constantly engaged in the service of this illusory material world, but now I wish to serve you. So please accept me and please engage me in your service. This is the kind of mood with which we chant the names of God. So so in this way, one has to very softly chant these names and meditate upon this meaning and hear the names distinctly. And in this way, please kindly chant at least 2 malas per day, and this will take 15 minutes of your day. Start your day with this mantra meditation before you begin with any other activity of your day. And this will keep you so spiritually fit, energetic to live your day in a very good consciousness. So this is the third thing that you'll have to do. C for chanting. And next, D. And D for diet. Diet. So we are also dietitians. We prescribe special diet to all of you. And what is that diet? We do not prescribe non-vegetarian, we do not prescribe vegetarian, but we prescribe you to become Krishnatarian. And how do you do that? By whatever vegetables and whatever vegetables you cook, you please offer it to the Supreme Lord before you partake it. Before you take it, so please offer it to the Lord as a bhoga and receive his prasad. In Bhagavad Gita it is said it is said, Yajna Shishtasena Santo Muchante Kal Sarvakil Vishaihi Bhungte Tetpa Agham Papam Ye Pachanti Atma Karanat. Bhungte Tetpa Agham Papam. They eat only sin who are eating food directly without offering it as a sacrifice to me. One who eats food without offering it to the Lord simply cooks for himself. One who cooks for himself, for his family, and he eats, and the family eats, they're actually eating not food, rather they're eating sin. They're eating sin, rather what one is supposed to do? Yajna Shishtasena Shantaha. One has to offer the food in sacrifice to the Lord by offering it as a bhoga to the Lord. And once the Lord accepts that offering, then we partake that prasadam. And how do we offer it to the Lord? This is a very simple process. I'll simply describe it to you. You have a very new, fresh plate for the Lord with some bowls also. With some bowls. Whatever you cook, rice, dal, sabji, roti, whatever you cook, you put it in each of these bowls. Sufficient enough for one person to eat or two people to eat. So in that way, you put it in the bowls. And after putting in each of the bowls, you put a tulsi leaf in each of the bowls. Put a tulsi leaf on dal, on sabji, on roti, on chawal. And also, and definitely not onion and garlic. Definitely not onion and garlic. This food should be free from onion and garlic. At least you can take out those items which are free from onion and garlic and offer to the Lord. And you can also keep a glass of water and put a tulsi in that glass also, and take that plate, put in front of the Lord, put in front of the Lord, Radha and Krishna, fold your hands, and pray to the Lord while ringing the bell. Ring the bell and ring the bell and pray to the Lord by reciting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 3 times. Pray to the Lord. Oh Lord, um, whatever you have given me, I'm offering it to you again. So this is what I could offer you in your service. So please kindly accept this offering, this small little offering, and bestow your mercy upon us. With that feeling, you please offer it to the Lord, and close the curtains of the doors for 10 minutes, 15 minutes of time. And after which you can enter the room or open the curtains and take back that offering. And thank the Lord. Thank you, Lord, for accepting this small little offering. Although it is not worthy for a person like you to accept this small little offering, but still, out of your mercy, have accepted this. Thank you for that. And simply take off that offering and then mix it with whatever you're going to serve to others. And serve that prasadam. Now that food is sanctified food. That is not normal food. Rather, that is sanctified food, karma-free diet. Just like fat-free food. This is karma-free food. Fat food with fat may kill you in this lifetime, but fat which is filled with karma will kill you for many lifetimes. So better get rid of this karma by offering it to Krishna before you eat. And we are actually also feeding to our family members, we are feeding sin then. So this will hardly take 10 to 15 minutes of our time. Hardly 10 to 15 minutes of time. Then why can't we wait simply for 15 minutes? What is going to happen? What is going to happen? You simply have to prepare the food 15 minutes earlier and offer it to the Lord, and then distribute it. Everybody will get to eat the Lord's prasadam, sanctified food. That is such a great service. Such a great service. And that will sanctify, that will purify your activity of cooking, that will purify your activity of buying vegetables, that will purify your money that you're earning. All of this will be purified simply when you begin to offer food to the Lord. So much benefit. And lastly, E for engagement. E for engagement. All the day long, all the week long, and all the year long, we are busy serving our own pretty little family, doing our jobs and this and that. I request that please take out some time to do some selfless service to the Lord. Selfless service to the Lord. There are innumerable ways that you can serve, just like, for example, conducting this course. For conducting this course, many devotees are involved that you'll get to see now. Somebody was putting messages, somebody was preparing the quiz form, somebody was calling all of you to please join. Somebody was registering all of you, somebody was preparing posters, somebody was posting videos. So in this way, many people are involved. So in this way, whatever talent you might have, you can use it in Krishna service. If you are good at making posters, you make posters. If you're good at making videos, make videos. If you're good at social networking, do social networking, promote such courses so that many people can take advantage of and hear about Gita. And if you are good at talking to people, then call people and motivate them to read Bhagavad Gita, take to spiritual life. So in this way, whatsoever talents that you may have, if you are good at cooking food, then cook food and provide food to those people who are now out on the roads distributing Bhagavad Gita. So in this way, whatsoever way you can do, they need, there's no need of any qualification or anything. Be it be a housewife or the company of a, or the CEO of a big company, anybody can do service as per their capacity. As per their capacity, but do some service. Do some service. And this service, this rest of the activities that we might do all throughout the week may not bring about that satisfaction, but these 2 to 3 hours of service that you might engage in for a week, and in a week's time, 2 3 hours, this will actually bring about great satisfaction to our heart, fulfillment to our heart. So please engage, take up some of the service. We'll let you know the various service opportunities that we have. So you can opt for any of them and you can engage yourself. So in that way, these are the 5 things. And once again, I'll repeat: A for association, B for books, C for chanting, D for diet, and E for engagement. And these are the ABCD principles that we get to learn, that will help us practice devotion or practice the principles of Bhagavad Gita in our life. So I request each one of you to please take to this, because after lifetimes, we have got an opportunity to at least know this in the form, with the help of this course. And now after knowing this, if we kind of neglect practicing this, then we will lose the opportunity that Krishna sent to us. And I would like to, before I finish, I will just simply describe the tamogun that is repeatedly coming up, that I forgot to explain. Tamogun means mode of ignorance. This mode of ignorance is characterized by sleep and laziness. These people are so lazy and they are so mad after sleeping for hours and hours and hours together that they fail to take out any time or fail to make any endeavor to advance in devotion. They are busy sleeping. Night long they sleep, morning they wake up, have their breakfast, and feel so tired that they have to go to sleep once again. They again go to bed. So in this way, these people spend a lot of time sleeping and sleeping and sleeping. Actually, as per scriptures, Ayurveda, 6 hours of sleep is good enough for a human. 6 hours of sleep is good enough. At max, 6 hours is good enough, not more than that. So 6 hours sleep, and the rest of the day we should be active in the service. That is why it is said, Yukta, Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Yukta Hari Viharasya, Yukta Chetasha Karmashu, Yukta Swapnava Bodhasya, Yogo Bhavati Dukkha. Only that person can actually practice yoga and finish off with all of his misery. One who actually regulates his eating, sleeping, recreation, and his office work or duties. Only one who regularizes all of this can only practice bhakti. Or else he'll not find time to practice bhakti, because he'll be so busy sleeping and is so lazy that he'll feel probably, I mean, abhi mandir kaun jayega? I cannot take out time or make the endeavor to go to temple, or make the endeavor to do the service, make the endeavor to chant, make the endeavor to read. You will not be able to. So such people are said to be in mode of ignorance, and this sleep and laziness actually is what ties them to this material world, and for them it is all misery and misery and misery. But unfortunately, they do not understand that they are in a miserable situation. Just like a drunkard, after after drinking a lot, he sometimes falls into the gutter. falls into the gutter, not knowing that it is gutter, but still he feels that he is in paradise. He feels that is in paradise, but that is gutter wherein pigs live. But that person does not realize. Similarly, this person who's in ignorance, who's trapped in ignorance, he fails to recognize that he is in a miserable situation. So ignorant fool he is. And see how to control one's sleep. Sleep is actually dictated by eating. The more you eat, the more you got to sleep. The more you eat, the more you got to sleep. The more heavier foods you eat, the more longer you got to sleep. The more drowsy you feel, the heavier foods that you eat. Too much of oily foods and this and that will make you more drowsy and heavy, and so you'll have to sleep longer. So if you were to really control your sleep, then you'll have to control your food, eating habits. Eating habits and all of these things, eating, sleeping, everything can be brought under control once you do these 5 things that I have told. If you keep doing these 5 things, I guarantee you that you can bring all of these under control. Your eating habits, your sleeping habits, your recreational habits, all of this you'll be able to bring them under control. If you do these 5 things: association, books, chanting, diet, and engagement. Okay. So I'll finish off with this, and today was a bit longer session because we had to cover a lot. So and I sincerely thank each one of you for devoting a lot of time for these sessions. Although you must have had many things to do in your day, but still you have taken out time to hear Bhagavad Gita. My only request after this service is to please kindly take out time to do these 5 things. These 5 things, and this is the only reward that I expect from all of you in return. This is the only reward that we expect from all of you in return. And please do not forget to do this, because this is a rare opportunity that Krishna has bestowed upon you. And it is not me, rather it is Krishna. I am simply a medium. I'm simply a medium to deliver Krishna's gift for all of you. Krishna has sent this gift to all of you. So please kindly accept this and please do not neglect this. And this will really transform and bring about a great positive change in our lives. It will add great meaning to our lives, great color to our lives. It will add happiness, satisfaction to our lives. And if not for devotion, there is no other hope in this life. There's no other hope. So that's why please kindly accept this humble request. Thank you so much for your time. In the course of my sessions, I have given many examples and I've quoted many things and I've spoken many things. In the course of speaking all of this, if my words seem to be hurting you or offending you by any ways, I seek your forgiveness. Seek your forgiveness. Please kindly forgive me for any sort of offense or anything. And please kindly take to this process. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for delivering such a wonderful and insightful concluding session of this 5-day online Bhagavad Gita course. Let's chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once and express our gratitude and offer our obeisance to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. On behalf of all the attendees, Prabhuji, I once again thank you. Prabhuji, instead of question answer session, can we have a little interaction with you wherein attendees can share their experience of the learning, or can we continue with the question answer, the usual format?
We can hear from them, because this wouldn't be the last session for them to ask questions. There'll be further sessions wherein they can definitely put up questions and discuss. And just would like to hear what they have experienced, what they have learned and understood, and what are they going to do after hearing all of this. Will my 5 days of service go waste, or would it carry some meaning, or or will it be of some use to them or not? So I definitely would like to hear from them.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, as Prabhuji pointed out, we have to tell Prabhuji that we will not let Prabhuji's efforts go on waste. So, those who want to share their experience, as pointed out by Prabhuji, kindly raise your electronic hand. I'll unmute and we can interact with Prabhuji. Kindly raise your electronic hand. Soumya Mataji, please unmute yourself and share your experience.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Actually, I have one question also. So I wanted to ask you that I recently discovered that in Vrindavan people say Radhe Radhe and many other people say Radhe Radhe, but who are associated with ISKCON they say Hare Krishna. So why is that?
The small little spiritual difference, and it doesn't matter too much, but still, because you're asking, because in Kali Santaran Upanishad, Brahmaji, when Narada Muni approaches Brahmaji to understand the remedy for the falsities of the Kali Yuga, then Brahmaji recommends Narada Muni, saying that this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is one which will actually help the living entities to come out of all of the malice, all of the vices that they are into, all of the impurities that they are into. So that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is prescribed to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and that is the reason we specifically chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra in ISKCON and in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya especially. It is not just ISKCON, it is Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya wherein we chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And because we are used to chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is why people know ISKCON devotees or Gaudiya Vaishnavas as Hare Krishnas. And that is why knowingly or unknowingly they tend to greet us as Hare Krishna, and we respond to them as Hare Krishna, because this is how we are known throughout the world. And since the very beginning of the ISKCON, ISKCON is referred to more as Hare Krishna than ISKCON. When it first when Srila Prabhupada started his mission first in London, there was a headline in London newspaper, "The Hare Krishna startle London." So in that way, it is a common practice that we are referred to as Hare Krishna. That is why people greet us as Hare Krishna, and we also greet them back as Hare Krishna. That is how.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that wonderful question. Prabhuji, we are about time. So can we take a few more if any devotee wants to share, or?
Yes.
Okay. So anyone else who want to share their experience with Prabhuji, kindly raise your hand. We'll unmute and we can. Okay, fair enough. Innovate, Mataji. kindly unmute yourself and share your experience with Prabhuji and with all of us.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Can
Hare
you hear me?
Krishna. Yes, yes,
Hare-
ma'am.
Thanks. Words are not enough. See, this session and other sessions, I've been attending your classes for the last 1.5 years or something. You see, the main message which you're giving is, you can say, priceless. And what is that message? That don't follow anything anyone says. Understand. So your classes are so priceless that it will clear any doubt in the mind of any person by acquiring the knowledge, the explanation, the relevance, the logic of Bhagavad Gita. Because it becomes easier for people, at least for me. If you told me whether I understand or not, I will follow. That is a different matter altogether. You see, I have a different kind of connection with Bhagavad Gita. But for any person, when we go to a person, as you say, association, we do, the best part is that after attending these classes, the clarity, the logic, the rationality, the justification of why we should follow. That is the message. If all of us understand, it would make our human birth meaningful, and it will relieve us of the vices of Kali Yuga, you say, or many more births if there would be. We just don't know. So this was the learning which has been coming through all your classes. And I attend again and again and again. That doesn't mean I don't understand. It means that whatever misinformation is acquired through association in this material world, that can be wiped away, erased by attending these classes again and again, because we hammer our brain that listen to it what the logic is. If we want to live, if we don't want to slide down, after 84 लाख योनियों के बाद सीढ़ियों से मैं नीचे नहीं गिरना है, हम सबसे ऊपरी सीढ़ी पर हैं. तो अगर हमें उस सीढ़ी से नीचे नहीं गिरना है, तो हम ये लॉजिक को समझे, हम इन क्लासेस को अटेंड करें. बाकी तो हमारा एफर्ट है कि हम एबीसीडी को फॉलो करते या नहीं करेंगे, तो हमारा बेनिफिट है. प्रभु जी, आप तो सिर्फ हमें रास्ता दिखा रहे हैं. इतनी आपकी ग्रेटनेस है. I mean, it is the greatest service to the humanity which you're doing, that you are showing the path, which even by paying hundreds, millions of rupees, no one would tell anyone. No person would do good to you. They would look for any benefit from you. But here you are doing a selfless service without charging anything, and you're spending your time, energy, your knowledge. So giving of knowledge is the greatest service to the mankind. And I really bow to you, to your service to mankind and the benefit which you are giving on a personal level, and also to the society as such, and to all those who are listening to your classes. So that is what I feel. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for that wonderful experience. Yes, that's correct. What Prabhuji is doing is actually priceless. So thank you so much. Let's have Commander Sudhir Dikshit Prabhuji. Kindly unmute yourself, Prabhuji, and share your experience.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Around 1.5 months back, I have started reading Gita, and I was on 3rd Adhyay, Karma Yoga, and one of my friends has suggested to join this course. I am so glad, and so much of clearance of mind has happened. I am so thankful to you for all the efforts done by you and your organization, sir. around in the year around 2000, someone have given me gifted a Bhagavad Gita, which was kept in a sealed envelope continuously in small temple in my flat, continuously from till uh, 2023. Thereafter, we have gifted to someone else, not opened the seal cover also. And around 2 months back, I felt that I should read Bhagavad Gita, and I bought it myself and got it online. Same the Yatha Sarup Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and started reading it slowly, 3-4 pages every day. And it is amazing, amazing the kind of things I am understanding. And with the grace of Lord Krishna, you came in front of us and uh, made it more clear how to understand, because understanding the messages of God is very important. Now, few small things, sir. Uh, since I am from defense background, so Prabhuji doesn't come on my tongue so well. So I'm very sorry, sir. uh, uh, in while doing kirtan, I understand that word Krishna and Rama will come, because when I do myself, it's very difficult. But while doing normal chanting or normal saying, why we should say speak correctly. Pronunciation should be correctly. It's Hare Krishna. But everybody in ISKCON is saying Hare Krishna. And even Arjun is called Arjuna, Ram is called Shri Ram, is called Shri Rama. I'm not convinced by it. Really, I'm not convinced by it. I think we should take our God's name correct.
True.
I understand the spirit behind it. Definitely, we are referring to the same Supreme God. But still, we should, as Indians, at least we should.
As you have said, even the scriptures also emphasize on this, that a person, to whatever extent possible, he should definitely try to pronounce the names rightly. Just as when somebody mispronounces our name, we also feel a little bit offended, right? So similarly also with the Lord, similarly also with the Lord, that's why definitely it's always recommended that one has to chant or pronounce it as clearly as possible. But when one carries a certain slang because of his mother tongue or something, then definitely at times it may get difficult. Just like for South Indians, they have a lot of akar being used in South India after every word. So that's why for them, it always like Arjuna, Rama, like this it comes. I mean, it is natural for them. Howsoever you may try to stop them, but because it is their mother tongue, so it will come out like that. But or else others should definitely try, as you have suggested. True.
So another thing, do gifting Gitas to different people on the road, on the railway station, bus stand, anywhere. I think that I have got one, but I never opened it. When I have to read it, I have bought it myself and started reading it. So, though ISKCON is doing that, and we are here to contribute, not an issue with that. But does a person really start reading Bhagavad Gita like that? That is the question.
Yes, I mean, there are innumerable such cases wherein people have started reading and they started taking to devotion seriously. Even those people who are not Hindus or who are not connected with Indian culture or anything like that, even like that. For example, I'll just narrate a small incident. Once a devotee was distributing Bhagavad Gita in South Africa. South Africa, he was distributing Bhagavad Gita, and suddenly a small little boy comes up to him, a small little African boy comes up to him, and he says, my father wants you to come to his home. He wants to honor you with something like that. So he told him, and he said that my father wants you to see, he wants you to come home. In Africa, somebody inviting home means it is a dangerous thing, because they may kill and eat you also. But still he thought maybe see, we'll see, small little boys ask him, we'll see what will happen. Then he went, that sannyasi went to the home. And that person who he was kind of an uh, African aborigine. Aborigine, that means tribal people kind of a thing. And kind of a person. And that person started saying, ki, sir, sir, I have been reading Bhagavad Gita for some time now. Somebody gave me this Bhagavad Gita and I have been reading Bhagavad Gita for some time now, although I could not understand much of it. But still, I just understood one thing out of this, that one has to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's why I have been chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra daily for the past 2 years. And now that I have come across a devotee for the first time, so I wanted to meet you to understand better what actually is given in Gita. So you can imagine a person coming from African background who has nothing to do with Hindu culture, nothing to do with Krishna and all of this.
Right, sir.
He found so much Bhagavad Gita interesting, and he transformed even without any listening to any course or anything. And he transformed and he started chanting and became a devotee. So it's a great effect.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that wonderful experience. Ashwita Jha Mataji, please unmute yourself and share your experience.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I really like this course, and I have been reading Bhagavad Gita from very long. I have reached the third chapter. And I was about to finish it. But there were some things that I wasn't able to understand, and some things were there like I was understanding, and some things were there I wasn't understanding. But it was I wasn't understanding the things because I didn't know the basics. So after joining this course, I knew the basics and also found the answers to many of my question of the questions that have been in my mind for a very long time. And I want to thank you for your great efforts. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for that lovely experience of yours. Trilokesh Jana Roy Prabhuji, please unmute yourself and share your experience.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. So, Prabhuji, first of all, I want to just thank you for your nice class that you have taken for long, 5 days long. But I have little bit question today also. Can I please, I ask you? If you give permission.
So because it is time now, already 9:50, so we'll have a session separately for this question answers. So definitely we'll take up a different session.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare Krishna.
We just have last 2 people.
Okay. So the last experience will share Ramesh Chaudhary Prabhuji. Prabhuji, please unmute yourself and share
Good
your...
morning.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dharma pranam to every devotees. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Prabhuji, from today's session, I experienced while you were describing the age of the Brahma. So when you are describing the age of the Brahma, it kept on going long and long and long. So simultaneously, my experience was going on. Our life is very, very small. So we should utilize our each and every second very carefully. If I had not listened to this section, this age of the Brahma, then it looks that our age is very, very long. We should enjoy. We should take this spiritual activity leisurely. We have sufficient time. But in comparison to Brahma's age, our age is nothing. So I experienced that we don't have time. So we should carefully utilize our time because the goal is very precious. And the second thing I experienced, I have already attended your 9-day Gita courses. And when this course was going to start, then the very beautiful idea came from Maya. Okay, what is the use of attending once again the Gita course? I've already attended the course. So these types of very good ideas came before attending. But after attending again and again the same course, same thing. So this my experience is that the latest course are more effective than the previous lectures because it gets more and more effective even though we are listening to the same things, but the result are very much different than the previous time we listened the same thing. So this is my experience. So we should try to listen same thing again and again and again. We should not have the thought that we have already listened. So it will have some other effect. I don't know how. This is the power of the God by listening again and again. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing your wonderful experience. And with that, we have come.
Kumar Nagaraj will ask. He was
All right,
waiting.
all right. Kumar Nagaraj, Prabhuji, please unmute yourself and share your experience.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam.
Then
Prabhuji, today you have told the value of 1 second in our life, what we earn on daily basis. And certainly these 5 days of 2 hours per day means 36,000 seconds. What you have given me that I cannot elaborate in words. You have made me the richest person of this world, and you have made me that much richest that it cannot be ये पैसे कभी खत्म नहीं हो सकते प्रभु जी, ये कभी खत्म नहीं हो सकते.
thank you for your nice experience. Stay connected. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. As Prabhuji pointed out, please stay connected, and we look forward to see you on this Sunday, the 1st of December. Let's take this opportunity to thank His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji for giving us his time, delivering such a wonderful course to us. Let's chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once and express our gratitude towards Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We have certain announcements. Kindly bear with me. So the first announcement is this, that on this Sunday, which is 1st of December, we will have a small get-together and a certificate distribution ceremony. I invite you all to please visit us. The session will have Kirtana. Session will also follow a lecture by His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji. We'll get an opportunity to interact with the entire team as well as with His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji. So we all are invited to participate in that get-together. Also, today there will not be any quiz. The link which was shared yesterday for day 4 quiz will be alive till tomorrow. So kindly make sure that you attempt that quiz. Those, whether you're eligible for the mega quiz or not, that list we will share tomorrow lunchtime. on the WhatsApp group. From there, you can check. Now, Mataji was asking if I do not secure good marks in the mega quiz, will I be entitled to visit the temple on 1st? Yes, Mataji, irrespective of your score in that quiz, we all are invited to bless us with your association and relish the merciful association of His Grace Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhuji. Let me quickly make few more announcements. Kindly give me a second. As Prabhuji pointed out, that this is just the stage 1 of the journey. So tomorrow we'll have our first session of mantra meditation for you. Tomorrow's session will start by 6:30 in the morning. We'll look forward to see you all there. The final quiz, as I pointed out, the mega quiz, the link will be shared tomorrow around 5 p.m. The link will become active, and the link will be active till 29th, 5 a.m. So total you will have around 36 hours to complete the quiz. As we pointed out, once you log in, please make sure that you complete the quiz in one go. Do not try and attempt the quiz in piecemeal manner. Try and complete the quiz in one go. Now, the mantra meditation class, as I just informed, tomorrow it will happen by 6:30, and the other days usually it starts by 6:15 a.m. Links and all will be shared in the respective WhatsApp group that you have joined. List of eligible candidates, as I pointed out, will be made available tomorrow somewhere around lunchtime, and certificate distribution of the successful candidates and those who have participated will be held on 1st of December from 12 to 2 p.m. at the temples. These were some of the announcements that I had to make. And with that, we have reached the end of this 5 days certificate course. I hope you all enjoyed the course as well as Prabhuji's association. We pray that you continue your spiritual journey, stay associated with us. Various courses, as we pointed out, are in line for you. Mantra meditation, level 2 classes for married individuals, for youth boys, and for youth girls. So please fill out that form which was shared yesterday. Request the team to kindly circulate that form once again in the respective WhatsApp groups for benefit of all the attendees. So with that, I take this opportunity on behalf of the entire team of ISKCON Noida to thank you all, and let's close today's session by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and praying for the good health and spiritual advancement of all the attendees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for your time. And I personally will look forward to see you, host you, and welcome you again on 1st of December. Please try and be there. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.